conviction. No one knows me none, so everything is fine, fine. I said I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. Serious business. There is a time for everything, and for everything there is a season. So man and man must reason. So I think it's prime time that we address some more issues. Simple information I will use. No rocket science to get you confused. So relax your mind, make sure everything is fine while I take you down a poetic line. Trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. I remember you say Liberation Day, and I ask, you sure is that you wanna say? Cause you sounded so good to believe. And deception is a powerful thing when you lose your rightful thinking. So we voted for the bling. But you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. Yellow, yellow all the way is what everybody say. Cell phone ring, man answering. Yellow, yellow, no hello. Teeth get yellow, house get yellow, bus get yellow, man get yellow, even green get yellow, and so says 11-4. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. Old school parables say you know what you have, but you don't know what you go get. So cherish what you have to diminish regret. But what on earth lasts forever? Not even things created by the great Jehovah. So the green grass ceased to grow to allow the yellow vibes to flow. But boy, one song I sing, one bell I ring. If we didn't know, we never know yellow would have treated us so. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. They began with the blame game, giving NNP more fame. Past administration, the cause of frustration. Past administration, chief of corruption. Then to economic recession, we can't give you attention. Economic recession, the cause of poverty in the land. Economic recession, no employment for the ordinary man. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. All your projects are stuck in a pipeline, but when asked, how is the country going? Oh, fine. We are looking into it. Never mind. Only projects in pipeline. No water to cool down the yellow temperature. When will they start? Please answer that. Oh, soon. Maybe by the next full moon. Although things are turning at a very slow pace, we now run no race. 5 years is a lot of space. It's just a few hungry people in a place and a few disgruntled grim people with their vexed face. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. Busy governing, busy managing, busy politicking, busy neglecting, busy inflicting poverty and hunger throughout Grenada. 1,000 Frenchmen can never be wrong, but you hold your yellow conviction strong. So why not send them advisors home? They're sucking money like water in foam. And rehire the Imanis, less stress on the economy. You are Manchester, hold up the country. You didn't see us down by the Bury when they sent SSU to beat we. Trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. So we've heard about your internal division, but some can't digest that one. Remember the man say he's an asset to the party? And will we vote you without him? You left him with Glenn alone. Maybe they're cloned. And however, I foresee a pretensive unity that will mislead a lot just before the next ballot. But you guys will have to come real good, cause it's a...
Good night to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique.
You think politician good? Trick or trick.
The rest of the Eastern Caribbean, those of you listening regionally and internationally.
We've waited in vain, hoping you'll list this train.
It is time for Talking Points. My name is Sheldon Scott. I will be with you up until the 10 o'clock hour. It's now 6 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock on the beautiful Spice Island of Grenada.
So I'm running up my mouth.
I'd like to say a special good night to those of you who are joining us via the live. Those of you joining us via 91.9, 91.5 Real FM.
Judy and Nansapin with me.
Those of you in Brooklyn, 94.9 We Noise Radio. Good night to you, Wade. Yes, Wade. I know. 2 days now I have to call Wade. Yeah, I take him a licks. Probably he call on the international line and rag me up. Yeah, look for it. Yeah, 2 days now I have to call Wade. But Wade, I'm sure you'd realize that the last 24 hours have been exceptionally busy on my end.
One thing or other, the Congress neglect us.
I shall ensure that it's not too busy to contact you in the near future, yeah?
Of the world. So drink your bush home if you want good health. And for
good night to you, Mr. Watts and Kathleen, Gavin, Doreen, Nessie, Onika, good night to you, Manda, Devon, Alan, Christine, Angie, Henry, Stephanie, Matthew, I'm seeing you there, brother, as usual. Oswald, Gertrude, Abraham, good night to you. Jackie, Agnes, and Michelle Alexander, good night to you. And Barbara, good night. Faithlyn, good night to you. And Jillian, that's one of the Jillians, that's the Koban. And Sherma, let me see, the other Deborah is there as well. Cynthia, Wilma, Margaret, and Lishra. I'm seeing you all over on the YouTube. Antonito, Alan, Dave, Gemma, Gloria. I'm seeing all of you over there on the YouTube. And let me see over on Facebook Live. I'm seeing a Charmaine. Charmaine is there every single. Charmaine, you're a real soldier. Anastasia, well, many of you are real soldiers. I'm seeing you all on every night, even though I don't shout you out as a soldier. Shemi, the next soldier, I understand. Sherry, Maria, yeah, Denise, and let me see. Kathy Albert. Kathy does wear soldier boots all the time. Dr. Panchu, good night to you, bruh. Dana Abraham, yes, good night. Sharon, what everybody are calling now the real soldiers, because if I don't say soldier behind the name after I say soldier to certain people name, I might end up getting lash. So let me just clarify, all of these people is real soldiers. So Maudlin, Jill, Nadia, Shirlene, Denise, Lucky, Patrick, Lynn, Petra, Alexander, Yolan. Let me see. Winnie is there. Red Girl Pascal is there. Kim, yeah, she's there as well. McLean, yeah, Betty Ann, Linda, Imelda, Francois. Yeah, just had to excuse me. I just had to call that whole name. Nice. Ever since, that is always me with that name. Yeah, I always remember Imelda, the one in the Philippines there. Yeah, Marcos. Right. Marishan. Good night to you. Toya. Good night, sweetie. Dominic, Claire, Dennis, Andre, Kishon. I'm seeing Cynthia. Woo, yeah, Claude. I'm seeing all of you under there tonight. Shauna, good night to all of you jumping on to the live. Yeah, and let's hulk up the live. Like and share. Like and share. Let's hulk. What did I say? Hulk up the live? Right now, we passed the Hulk. Yeah. Right now, what's stronger than the Hulk? Yeah, it must have something stronger than the Hulk. Right now, yeah, we go in. Yes, we linking it up. Nice, yeah. So like and share. Sandra, good night to you as well. Yes, so like and share the live. I told you all we're trying to make some changes in studio, so you'd realize things changing from time to time. One or two things being adjusted. So we are attempting to make some changes in studio.
It's a powerful thing when you lose your rightful.
And we like to thank those of you that when we call on you to assist us with something to help, yeah, immediately, not like 3 and 4 days later, you know, same day kind of thing, you know. So I ain't want to call all your name, you understand, unless I get permission to call all your name. But to those who help, we thank you. Nice.
Teeth get yellow, house gets yellow, bus gets...
And to those who help with their prayers, we thank you as well, because I know a lot of you go down on your knees and pray for us here at Talking Points and for your country. And we thank you. You could never have too much prayers.
You lose the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. Old school parables say you know what you have, but you don't know what you go get. So cherish what you have to diminish regret. But what on earth lasts forever? Not even things created by the great Jehovah. So the green grass ceased to grow to allow the yellow vibes to flow. But boy, one song I sing, one bell I ring. If we didn't know.
Yes, Gloria, you know, I have to say a special good night to Miss Cammy. I know Cammy is tuned in. Cammy, you haven't seen me for the last 2 days. That's very unlike me, I know.
That's the way it is.
Don't worry, you will see me tomorrow.
Hoping you lose the strain, but you now refrain.
You know, yesterday I was heading home with my son, and we didn't take the normal route, which usually is we pass on the terminal and we pass by Cammy. And when we were going otherwise, he said, Daddy, Auntie Cammy, Daddy, we have to go by Auntie Cammy.
Economic recession, we can't give.
He loves his Auntie Cammy, yes.
Economic recession, the cause of poverty in the...
Daddy, Auntie Cammy.
Economic recession, no employment for the ordinary man.
So I'll make sure we pass by Auntie Cammy tomorrow.
Campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll lose the strain.
So remember to like and share. Those of you who are looking on via YouTube and you've not yet subscribed to the page, make sure that you do so. Yeah, and invite your friends, your family to do the same.
We are looking into it. Never mind. Only projects in pipeline. No water to cool down the yellow temperature. When will they start?
So my good cousin out there in Brooklyn, all my cousins out there in Brooklyn, yeah.
Next full moon.
I'm saying a special good night to each and every one of you. Ira, good night, bro.
Just a few hungry people in the place and a few disgruntled grim people with their vexed face. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll lose the strain, but you now refrain. Busy governing, busy managing, busy politicking, busy neglecting, busy inflicting poverty and hunger throughout Grenada. 1,000 Frenchmen can never be wrong, but you hold your yellow conviction strong. So why not send them advisors home? They're sucking money like water in foam. And rehire the Imanis, less stress on the economy. You are Manchester, whole of the country. You didn't see us down by the Bury when they send SSU to between. Trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you lose the strain, but you now refrain. So we've heard about your internal division, but some can't digest that one. Remember the man say he's an asset to the party? And will we vote you without him? You left him with Glenn alone. Maybe they cloned. And however, I foresee a pretensive unity that will mislead a lot just before the next ballot. But you guys will have to come real good, cause it's a long time, Grenada.
Yeah, folks, something that was just coming in there, so I'm just making sure I gather it before we start directly, yes?
We won't stay at ease. That's the way it is.
You know what? Yeah, let's play one of the other team songs right now. We're going to play the second version. Night to you, cousin Margaret. Know you and the husband are listening, so special good night to you both.
Let's go. I really had fun writing this so please don't take me serious. Oh no. And if you take it out of context, it's your damn business when you get vexed. They say I only sing when the Congress in power. That may as well be the case. He doesn't change the price of rice and sugar. And then we get the bag of licks, who the hell know where they go? Maybe by the Baptist man for Shango. What?
So yeah.
History of returning with landslide victory.
So today there was the Parliament sitting, and at the Parliament sitting you had the data Protection Act, contrary to what the new National Party asked for, which was that the government pull the bill back and ask for consultation on it. No, the government decided that they're going to just, push it through. Bradam, radam. They just ram it through. The bradam, radam. Radam, as the Jamaicans say radam mean. Yes, bradam, radam. They just shoved the bill through. They didn't care. And then, when you're raising concerns in relation to the bill, the Prime Minister of this country, your country, my country, the Prime Minister of this country, stood up and then said that the concerns are not genuine. That's what he stand up and say, The new National Party didn't used to operate in that manner. No. New National Party did not used to operate in that manner. And I could point out several instances. The Electronic Crimes Act. I was in the Senate in 2013. I presented that bill at the Senate. And we did hold that bill and make changes to the bill. Because people were concerned about certain aspects of the bill. They found that those aspects of the bill were too far-reaching. So they said, listen, we don't like it. You were hearing people like Sandra Ferguson. All you hear Sandra speaking on this bill? Have you all heard from our good friend Sandra Ferguson? Who always speak about we the people? We the people end up as we the people are. Because like they smoke, they get high and they go and lie down and sleep. Because I cannot understand how Madam Civil Society, Sandra Ferguson, all of a sudden disappear on this issue. She was most vociferous in relation to several issues over the last few years. She had all kind of things to say about people's rights and people's constitutional rights, and that government ought not to have overreach and the discretionary powers of the Prime Minister and different ministers when it came to various pieces of legislation. Not one, several. When there were different accusations being made, that Sandra Ferguson was writing into the newspapers, was on beyond the headlines and to the point. All over the place. All of a sudden she get quiet. Sandra, what happened to you? You okay? Somebody messaged me she's not okay. I would take back what I have said. But somebody messaged me and tell me, Sister Sandra, okay? Because I find she get real quiet. Civil society, by and large, seems to be very silent in relation to the data protection bill. So it's okay, it seems, that when legislation is being passed under the new National Party, that there needs to be a microscope on it to see different sections that people could start writing articles to the newspaper, expatiating all over the place, on radio and television, even on the streets, doing protests. So it seems as though there's one set of rules for when the new National Party is in office and another set of rules when an NDC government is in office. So all these people and them, like on the 23rd of June, they get a dose of shut up and mummification. Because they can't be alive. They had to be somewhere buried in a pyramid wrapped up. Because all of a sudden you can't hear them. So I want to know, where Miss Sandra Ferguson? How come you're so quiet on this one? Mr. Ruggles Ferguson, you too? You have nothing to say? People's constitutional rights are being abridged. You have nothing to say in relation to this? Nothing? Come on, man. You all had a lot to say during the new National Party time. You can't stay quiet now. Where's the Bar Association? I am absolutely positive that this bill was not sent to the Bar Association. The Bar Association quiet? The Bar Association have nothing to say? Yeah? The Bar Association gone quiet. The Bar Association can't hold a press conference. They can't send a letter to the government. They can't send a letter to the public and say, well, we don't agree with this or that. And someone is telling me that Sandra is not well. So if that is the case, I apologize. I'm not too big. As I said, I don't know. That's why I asked the question. They're saying that she's not well. And if she's not well, our prayers go to her. She's a fellow Grenadian. She's a fellow Grenadian. So our prayers go to her. But I am saying that many of the voices that we heard before, we're not hearing them now. They've gone quiet. Had this bill gone to the stage that it's at right now, under the new National Party, had this bill gone to that stage under the new National Party, oh yeah, well no, look, somebody else is telling me, no, look, Miss Sandra was at a seminar today. Well, if she's well enough to go attend a seminar at the Radisson today, then she should be well enough to speak on a bill like this. Yeah, somebody is saying, no, look, she was out and about today. Yeah, so if you're out and about today, I expect to hear you. And no, I ain't taking calls yet. I will take calls just now. I am saying that too many of the people that used to anything under the Keith Mitchell administration would speak on issues and make themselves available to discuss these issues have suddenly gone silent. I am yet to see the Media Association. I haven't heard you all on this one. My good friends in the media, I haven't heard you all. Where are you all? What is the media saying on this bill? Instead of simply reporting what the new National Party says and what the government says in relation to this bill, what is your understanding of the bill and how, if it does, infringe on 1, your rights as a journalist, and 2, your rights as a common citizen here in Grenada? Because contrary to the absolute convoluted nonsense spoken by Ron Redhead today in Parliament, this bill is not specific to commercial interests only. It is open-ended. It can be used on individuals. There is no clause, no specific section that Ron Redhead could point to that says that this bill is encapsulated only to focus on businesses and the commercial sector. And those are the things that we're asking to address. That's why we are saying open the bill for consultation. It's still not too late. It hasn't gone to the upper house yet. Because when it goes to the upper house, when it goes there, if the bill is passed there and then the Governor General puts a signature to that, it becomes law. So I'm letting you all know that there's still time for the government to come to its senses, stop acting ignorant. What I saw today was a display of ignorance and arrogance. And ignorance in the Grenadian sense, not ignorance. Well, some of the dictionary application of the word ignorance, because there's quite a bit of that there today. But ignorance in the Grenadian sense too. And arrogance. And you could, listen, you should never be arrogant. But at least if you're being arrogant about something, make sense and know what you're talking about. Make sense and know what you're speaking about. Because you cannot be trying to explain something and you don't have a clear understanding of it. You have sections in this bill that's saying that people that are appointed by the Prime Minister, and so I believe they made some amendments, and I have to go over the amendments to see which amendments were made. But in the original bill, you have where these people cannot be taken to court so that they can send somebody to search your business, to search your home, to search your vehicle, to search your property. And that person, any act that they commit there, they cannot be charged criminally, and you can't bring a civil case against them. That is against your constitutional rights. That is against your constitutional rights. You have a right to privacy. You have a right to freedom of expression. You have rights to, for instance, property unhindered. That you could own your property, have your property unhindered. And if you're putting a law in place against those and you're trying to take away, and I heard this nonsense from the representative of St. George Southeast, this absolute foolishness, total stupidness about this bill is adding more rights to the Grenadian people. Hello, Mr. Philip Telesford, here's a challenge to you. Please tell the Grenadian people which rights they did not have before that this bill is giving them. Quote the sections of the bill that are adding new rights to the Grenadian people. It's easy to go in Parliament and talk stupidness. But come out and tell the Grenadian people, you, Mr. Philip Telesford, which parts of this bill are adding new rights to the people? What are those rights? It's okay to make the foolish statements, isn't it? But it's a hell of a thing to try and defend them. The bill is a mess. You're giving discretionary powers to the minister in charge, who in this instance is the Minister of National Security, the Prime Minister, to decide what the same bill is making an offense that they can decide that that's not an offense. Is that making sense to anybody listening here or viewing here tonight? Is that making sense to any of you listening or viewing this program tonight? That on one hand, you are saying that, oh, this is an offense, that is an offense, and they have some serious charges there. $50,000 or how much time in jail, $200,000 and how much time in jail, and so on. You are putting these things in there and saying this is an offense. To pass the information is an offense. To have the information in your possession is an offense. To have it on your property is an offense. You're saying that. That is what is in the bill, and they can't deny that. They refuse to answer that. Instead, they come with these convoluted pieces of nonsense, simply saying that, all you're just upset and all you want to object for objection's sake. Let me tell you something. Let me give you all a story. Years ago, when I was in the Senate, I remember we had one of those parliamentary caucuses as the parliamentary team, the new National Party parliamentary team. And I could say it. I had a problem with a particular act that was about to pass. And I could say what it was. My problem was that they were about to increase the price of used tires. And I was saying that different categories of people, it's going to affect them in a negative way. And I was totally against it. Totally against it. Now, the then Prime Minister, with 15 seats in Parliament, 15, all, it had no opposition there, who had appointed me to the Senate, could have simply ignored me and say, well, me and Brother Sheldon and that. If Sheldon don't like it, he don't like it. But instead of just ignoring me, he brought the Honorable Oliver Joseph and Mr. Timothy Antoine, yes, the man who does sign all the money now. He brought two of them into a room with me to take the time to go through piece by piece and explain, one, why it was necessary, and how they would cushion that effect otherwise on the people who had to make those purchases and so. He didn't need to do it. He could have just said, Sheldon, fall in line. But instead of doing that, he brought in other people so that I could consult with them and ask questions and so on to ensure that I understood just one simple part of the legislation that's going to be passed, And I had a problem with it, and I said I had a problem with it. And he said, no, okay, well, let's. And on many other occasions, in many other forums, whether it's within the political party, within the cabinet, or even within the parliament, I personally have seen instances where Dr. Mitchell had one view, and other members of the party had a different view, and he went with what the other members of the party's view was. he consulted. Even though he may think this is the best thing to do, he would still listen to what other people were saying in relation to the issue. The Electronic Crimes Act was one such issue. Back in 2013, that's why it was amended. You also had the COVID that was spoken about today. That people had concerns about privacy and about their fundamental rights as Grenadian citizens enshrined in the 1974 Constitution. And they voiced those concerns. And the bill was held back. But this government mean they had to consult nobody. So the bill ain't go to the Bar Association before they bring it in Parliament, and so it ain't go to the Bar Association. You simply said, okay, even if you go for the first reading and then you hold on the bill, and you say, okay, let's bring it out to the general public, let's bring it out to everybody so that we can hear what civil society has to say, what the churches have to say, because the people in the church, as well as the church as an organization, is directly affected by what is in that bill. The trade unions. Because remember, the people that are creating, storing, and holding that information are workers. So they ought to have a say in relation to this bill, and not just when it reaches the Senate and you just say, well, okay, they get a chance to talk, and after that, because you have the numbers on the government side, you just pass the bill anyway, and then use the cover of, well, look, the trade unions talk, and the business community talk. That's the sort of nonsense that we've had happening today. These people just mean they ain't care what nobody think, they passing it, and what do they say? And is that? The nonsensical dumb statement that they continue to make, the unintellectual drivel of and is that. The finality of a statement that means that the individual cannot intellectually, honestly, and factually discuss the issue that you are speaking about. So they end it like a full stop with, and is that. Nonsense, innit? But this is what is happening in our country. And as I said, there's still an opportunity, you know. You, the people, have to ensure that you make your voices heard. You, the people, have to take the opportunity to make sure that this government understands that they will not run roughshod over you, the people of this country. As Sandra Ferguson would say, we the people have that responsibility. The parliamentarians could go and they could speak, you know, they could hold press conferences and they could speak. They can go into the parliament and they can speak. Yeah? They can go on to various television programs, radio programs, social media, and they can speak. But unless you, one, make sure you understand what is being attempted here, and two, ensure that the government understands that you do not agree with certain aspects of the bill. And let me make it clear here. It is not a situation where anybody is saying that you don't need data protection. Nobody's saying that. Right? So nobody is saying that you do not need a Data Protection Act. We are saying that there are some aspects of that bill that are causing concern. If you could have people losing their temper and acting the way some of them acted in Parliament this morning, how can you give discretionary powers to a person that can't control their emotions? They wouldn't like to. And understand something here. Let me make sure that all of our good friends in the National Democratic Congress understand something here. Your political organization has a historical precedent of one term. And as Senator Chester Humphrey pointed out last night, with that one term, you usually don't last a full term. So you usually get one term and not a full term. So there is historical precedent that, if all things remain equal, will be followed again. Now, once that is the case, just remember, any legislation you are passing now, and people are warning of government overreach, people are warning of superpowers being given to a government minister. Because in that bill as well, remember that a government minister could request people's personal information, companies' personal information, and say it's for their function as a minister. Yes, that is in the bill as well. So just remember that what you don't like for others, you must never like for yourself. And what you don't like for yourself, you must never like for others. Because in the same way people are talking to you and telling you about some aspects of this bill, you would not be in government forever. In fact, every day is one day less that you have in government. Know that. Every single sunset means you have 1 day less in government. It's not 1 day more, it's 1 day less. The glass is emptying. Who want to see it as half full like a business? They could see it as half full and then when the empty, try and drink. It is 1 day less. And I'm hearing that there were ministers, MPs, parliamentary representatives that went to their leader and said, hey, we're kind of concerned. We're hearing some of what the opposition is saying and what some people are saying. We've heard Dr. Francis Alexis on this bill, and we are concerned. We think that it should be held back. Now they're trying to use some story about, oh, they're going to lose some money if they don't do it. That's a lie. Show me where you would lose that money. Explain to us that if this legislation isn't passed, how are you going to lose that? Point me to the document that says that if that bill isn't passed immediately, you're going to lose that money. We know all you're bad at losing money. Yeah, we know, 72 million or 70 plus million on the West Coast. We know. All you're very good at losing money. So we understand that. Yeah? And no, we don't want you all to lose any money again. But if you want us to feel comfortable that you will make amendments in the near future, show us that you're on a timeline. That you need to have this passed by a specific date. I remember many times the United States would put various laws in place, financial and otherwise, that could cause a country to end up in some serious financial problems if they do not sign on to those laws within a time frame. I've seen it several times pass through Parliament in my time. It passed through Parliament before me, and it has passed through Parliament after me. Every now and again, something is handed down by the European Union, or handed down by the UK, or handed down by the US or Canada. And as such, you have to make amendments to your law, or you have to pass a new law to deal with that. Other than that, you could find situations where you might have problem with money traveling between your country and their country, or their country and your country, because they would not recognize the financial institutions in your country. I could understand in context of those laws that you have to pass them in a short space of time, but you still try to consult with people. Even during and afterwards, you could still consult with people and amend as you see fit. But I could understand in those contexts. This is not one of those situations. Don't lie and tell us that it's not true. You're not being true. So don't lie and tell us that to make us feel that it's a situation, that it's a situation that if you don't pass this immediately, you're going to lose that financing. So you can't take a couple weeks, you can't take 2 weeks and discuss this. What's the timeline? What's the deadline? Which agency has given you the deadline and say you need to pass this law in your country by that time? Because there are other countries in the region that ain't pass it. And there's one that I know of that they pass it, but they ain't enact it. So it went through the parliament and all the stages, but they have not enacted it. So why is Grenada you want to use as the guinea pig? Now I'm asking these questions. Remember, they for themselves stated, and they're trying to make it look like this was NNP legislation and NNP put this together and so on. They remind me of the little fella. You know, you always hear that story of the little fella and the brother. And the grandfather come and he ask, he say, well, which one all you tell the sheep? And one brother saying the other brother do it, the other brother saying he thought the other brother do it. Both of them saying they thought the other one do it, and the sheep dead in the field. because they're trying to shift blame. And that's why I see the NDC continually in a circle and a cycle of trying to shift blame for anything. So anything you say on something is, oh, all you did do it before, or all you do that too. Instead of saying, well, look, let's consult, let's speak on it, let's take a new approach to this. And that's what they ought to have done on this bill. Take a new approach. Come off of the high horse that you're on. Listen, if Mr. Deacon Mitchell leaves the Prime Ministership of Grenada right now, he has absolutely nothing to show for it except that he was Prime Minister. I say it. Not a single achievement. So get off the high horse you're on. You want to talk down to a man who has spent 30-something years in Parliament, who you can't throw a cricket ball any part of Grenada and not hit 4 projects that he has done successfully. No part of Grenada. You can throw a cricket ball. Anywhere you throw it, you must hit at least 4 projects that a Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell-led New National Party has achieved. And you want to talk down to him? You ain't reached to the stage you could talk down to him. None of you on that side. Reach to the stage you could talk down to anybody on the other side. All you do is you win a seat. Now you have to govern. Let me say it again. All you have done is won a seat. Now you have to govern. And governing is not throwing word for people on the other side because you win a seat. Half all if you go back to election right now, all you losing the same seat. And I telling all you that. All you walking around like cockerel in a gael. If all you go back to election right now, all you're losing. While you're walking around like a cockerel. Tail high in the air. What's your achievement so far apart from firing people? And making yourselves living annoyances? What's your achievement that you have done? Take back houses from people in Garoko? Fire people, 88 people in St. Andrew Southeast alone? Fire people in the Tonga St. George? Fire people in St. George Northwest? Fire people in St. John and St. Mark and all over? That's your achievement? What's your achievement? Has the price of foodstuff gone down? Is the basket of goods that the average family goes and buy, has it gone down? Have we seen significant reductions in our utilities, etc.? What's your achievement? And nobody is saying that you have to make a miracle in a short space of time. We are saying, calm down. It's come, you come in. Because listen to them in Parliament today. And you would have think that these is people that had rebuilt Grenada about 4 times already. And now, they come back now. And they're talking down to other people because like, hey, we could talk down to all you, you know. We have this achievement and that achievement to show. Yeah? That is the kind of thing that has been happening. And you need to listen. And Grenadians, if they don't listen, we have to make them listen. They have to listen. Because this bill is a clear example of the arrogance of the National Democratic Congress government. The arrogance. Nobody shouldn't tell us nothing about that. Asking about the qualifications of Peter Charles David? You asking? Ron Redhead? You British University? I mean, many of us never went to university, so there's no problem with that. But just because you win a seat, you feel now you could question the man's qualifications? Just because you win a seat and you're a minister now, you feel you could come and talk nonsense in the parliament and we're supposed to just let it slide? We're not supposed to respond and say, hey, you're talking stupidness? Did you take time to sit down and read the bill? Do you even understand what's in the bill? Do you agree with what's in the bill? You find it's okay that someone should be allowed to enter somebody's home, search, do what they want, take what they want, all of that, and after they leave, that the person, if they have been wronged, if it's a lie, that person had information, the person can't take civil action? And if something of a criminal nature take place during that search, that the person must not be able to protect themselves by going to a court of law? You think that is fair? It says a lot about you if you think that is fair. You know my personal belief? My personal belief is people like him, they're afraid of this bill because they're afraid information in relation to certain doings come out. That's a dream I had. Yeah, I was dreaming, and in that dream, it said, shall learn. These people are afraid. I just reported a dream, They say I can't think. I reported a dream. Right. So I was having this dream, and the dream said, shall learn. These people are afraid that certain things that they may have already done, or they are right now getting ready to do, would be exposed. And as such, that is why they want to have this bill in place to try and protect not you, the average Grenadian, but to protect themselves. You hear them speaking about secrecy. The same people who was talking about freedom of information not too long ago. You hear them talking about secrecy now. Have they put in place a Freedom of Information Act? This is an act doing the exact opposite. The same people who have been speaking about freedom of information, and we have freedom of information and this and that. The same people that gave an oath of affirmation to the public officers. And not only the public officers, they start to pass it in the statutory bodies too. Because they're afraid that you find out things like they take $18,000 from Lotto to go and pay for a hotel for a party member in St. David's family. Yeah. When they come out for the dance. Yeah, that. They want you know them thing. They want you know from a statutory body like NIS that when they are the ones controlling the investment portfolio, in other words, the trade unions don't have a say in relation to what the investment portfolio is. So every time the government broke, they could go to the NIS and get money. You only understand that is what they're doing by how they have now configured the people on that committee. They have put people so that anytime they go and they ask and they say, we want our money, the people go say, okay, how much? So they don't want anybody that's going to be there that's going to say no and protect the workers' money. They don't want anybody there that has a keen eye and has the responsibility to, for instance, the trade unions or the business community or the churches or to just average Grenadians on a whole to say, no, you can't get that money. You have to find another source, because if we continue doing this and giving you money, we will end up in a situation where we're going to broke the NIS. They ain't telling you that. Last night when I was speaking to Senator Humphrey, that's what I was getting at when I was speaking about the investment committee. Because these are the people who decide how the money that NIS has in it is spent. So if the government decides they're coming with a treasury bill and they're looking for $30 million, that they would just tell the NIS, take $30 million and take the treasury bills. And then when they need another 10, another 15 million, they tell the NIS, take the 10, take the 15. But if you had a properly constituted investment committee with a representative of labor and one other organization there, or other organizations there, then at least you could have had some sort of comfort that the money that's in the national insurance scheme is being protected. Right now, I ain't had that comfort. But they don't want you to know these things. So they're swaying everybody to secrecy across the board. Again, I don't have a problem with secrecy, But when it comes to the people's business, when it comes to wrongdoing, I don't have a problem with anybody leaking information. And to put one little lonely section in the bill to deal with whistleblower and not put a law, a full law in relation to whistleblower legislation says a lot to me as an individual. It says what this government is trying to do is scare whistleblowers and not care for whistleblowers. That's how I see it. I don't know how you see it. I see it as a situation that this government, they're trying to frighten people who would leak the information about any potential wrongdoings in the National Lottery Authority. They want they remember, these are the same people that was talking about this one was paid and that one was paid and this and that with the National Lottery Authority. But now they want information come out from there. They want information come out from Gravel and Concrete that says anything about board members who potentially have been the people that the Gravel and Concrete needed stuff and buy tens of thousands of dollars worth of it from a board member. They want that information out there. They want you to know that. They want me to know that. They want that information out there. So right now, they're trying their very best to shut down everything. Yeah? They're trying their very best to shut down everything. They don't want the information flow. They ain't believe in no freedom of information, you know. Because the Prime Minister, with this bill, is a hypocrite. Yeah, I said it. I know some people ain't gonna like I say it. But I'm saying what the fact is. He's a hypocrite. It's the same Prime Minister went and read out the account numbers and deposits of an organization and released it. But we're still waiting for him to bring the cabinet conclusion to back up his allegation in relation to that. Because the same Prime Minister who said, the same Deacon Mitchell who said when he was not yet the Prime Minister, that is okay to take money for campaigning for the NDC from people within the CBI program. Let's start taking calls. We have a caller online. Good night, caller. Hello, good night. Hello, good night, caller. You're live. Go right ahead.
Hello?
Hello, you're live, caller. Go right ahead. Just lower the volume in the background and you can go ahead. Yes, you're live. You're live. Go ahead.
Hey, Sheldon.
Yes, sir. You're live. Go right ahead.
Yeah, good program, brother. Good program.
Thank you. No, just ignore the thing in the back and speak to us. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's good that you're calling them out, and you are doing the right thing.
Yes. Go ahead.
I tell you what it is. Mm-hmm. This law is a rush law to shut people up, to cover up what they are doing.
Well, that's how I see it.
The thing is, Sheldon, the program that they have, it's not working. Nothing is working for them, and they're trying to create a distraction to divert people from what should be happening in the economy, and it's not happening. So they're trying to stall, but again, it's to shut people up. They don't want to be exposed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is ridiculous when you're trying to push down a law into people's brain. Nothing that hasn't been discussed. I mean, what they should have done first is to discuss all the issues and then pass it after. But you want to pass it first and then discuss after? Doesn't make any sense. Because the transformation program that they have is not working. Nothing is working, so they're creating distraction and they're trying to shut people up. That is not right.
My friend, I have been informed of certain moves that this government is making, and I'm going to be speaking on some of those things. People that are being sent on leave. Yeah? People that are being sent on leave. There are situations where senior people who have held senior positions are being demoted. I'm telling you all sorts of things that are going on that they don't want you to know. They tell the public service anything that happened there, said there, should stay there. But no, the public service, they're working for us. That is we business.
Right. And you see, you have a transformation program, agenda. Nobody knows what that's all about. No one knows what is the transformation agenda. I mean, if you're going to build 10 schools, or you're going to pave 20 miles of road, or you're going to revamp education, you have something to rally around, but there is nothing specific in the transformation agenda. And they know they're getting beat on that. So they're trying to change the narrative, like talking about this law and this, it's just all BS. You know?
And the thing is the arrogant attitude in relation to it. Like, I would expect arrogance from somebody that has been there for an extended period of time, has a lot of achievement under their belt to be able to come out and speak. But you're hearing some people acting arrogant in Parliament, and all they do is they win a seat. All they've done is win a seat. Arrogant.
I saw the Arrogance today. I listened to it. I mean, this is ridiculous. And you think that the PM is a man of law, he should understand procedures, you know what I'm saying? But it's just arrogant.
Yes, indeed. All right, caller. Thank you so very much.
But you know what? Keep calling them out on it and let them not distract you from their agenda, because they have no agenda and they're trying to hide. They're not doing anything up to this day. It's 9 months. And you cannot see the transformation agenda, so they're trying to create diversion and to shut people up. That's not right.
All right. Thank you, caller. All right. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Good night.
Yes, and keep listening.
Good program.
All right. Let me tell you all a bit about what the transformation agenda is. The transformation agenda is to transform employed people into unemployed people. Yeah? Poor people into destitute people, and middle class people into poor people. If you ask me, that is the transformation agenda. We have a caller online. Good night.
Hey, good night, Children. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man.
Yeah, I had to really chime in because I was listening to this show which was Parliament this morning, and I too listened to the Arrogance. I actually was watching it, and I was watching the movements and the carrying on, and the wording was that they were using. I made a phone call after that, and I was like, "Are you guys looking at these things?" Because that's the first time in a long time. The last time I heard Arrogance like that was when Michael Batis was in the Parliament, and he was there for a while. These new people show up, they infiltrate, probably arrogance, ignorance, all adjectives, right? Something I just listened on another station. Who was in office in 2011, Sheldon? Can you tell me?
The National Democratic Congress led by
When was
Thomas.
When was this bill first introduced?
2011.
From the OECS?
2011.
2011. There is a guy telling people that NNP that implement that bill in 2011. That's how dumb these people are.
But remember,
and they listen to this thing and they go and they run with that, man.
Everything that they get lashed on or they get fight back from is NNP that do it or NNP used to do it. Everything they get fight back on.
Yeah.
That just shows how childish they are.
People, and you know what will happen? Apparently the bill going to pass. But like I told somebody this morning, I said, listen to me. This thing will affect NNP if in office, it will affect NDC if in office, it will affect NNP if the other office, likewise NDC. And Dr. Mitchell said that. Shockingly enough, I saw the interview that came home this afternoon and he said it. These men them trading on some tin trading.
Let me
and
ask
these
you.
three ministers.
Let me ask you this, sir. Now,
yeah.
These individuals, they accuse Dr. Mitchell of all kind of thing. You think they would like Dr. Mitchell to have these powers? Don't they realize that politics changes day by day? What if they end up with him having those powers? Would they like that? Yeah? Would they like him to have those powers? Anytime they go to pass a law, because you know they have a particular perception of him. So they must ask themselves, would we like him to have that in law that can be used against us? In the same way that nobody likes them having it to use against other people.
But, and lastly, before I go, the present Honorable Prime Minister is the biggest perpetrator of doing that because he, well, I won't say he, but a document was leaked apparently with some bank transfer, some money.
Listen,
and
no. Let me stop you. Not maybe he. And the document wasn't leaked. The document was put out. And he went into Parliament. He went into Parliament and he said he would put it out, and he used the Government Information Service to put it out. First time I ever seen that.
You're hearing people calling and program and they rejoicing. Watch me. Let the bill pass. I want it passed because watch me. They're coming for you, and just like they're coming for you, I will defend you. And here we go. We will go for who will be talking for the last 9 years with the things they will do. Have a good night.
But who afraid them? Come. If all you're bad, come. All you feel easy, come. Yeah. Are the same blood. Let me tell Karaku people who know what I'm talking about. Are the same blood as Lucian in me. Come. Come. All you know what's Mama done? Ask Springs people. Yes, Springs. We were talking about Springs just now. Come. If all you want to see the other side of me, ask who Walter Dunn was and ask who he was for me. Come. Yeah, older people know what I'm talking about. Yeah? So if all you want to come, you know. Me ain't afraid that. But I'm saying this is more than just me. This is not just me. Any one of you listening here can be affected by this bill. And that is what people need to understand. This isn't just about Sheldon. This is about you. We have a caller online. Good night, caller.
Sheldon, good night.
Kiami!
Yes, I know Mama Doom. That's me old mother, grandmother-in-law.
My grandmother.
Yes. Sheldon, good night and good night to the Grenadian people. You
Good night. Well, my son asking for you. I had to bring him by you tomorrow by hook or the crook.
Tomorrow, please the Lord.
Tomorrow, please the Lord. I must bring him by you. The man vexed with me.
Sheldon, leave these people alone. Let it get on. Let it get on, Sheldon. You don't worry. There is a God, you know. Sheldon, there is a God. Sheldon, there is a God. He's the God of the universe. You see what happened this morning? You see what happened? I see something on the phone. This is a red flag for Deacon Mitchell. This is a red flag for Deacon Mitchell as the Prime Minister. I, Samuel Theresa Scott, telling the nation that I don't care what none all you say. This is a red flag, Mr. Deacon Mitchell, as the Prime Minister of Grenada. But you see what going there in Springs? That's a red flag for you, sir. Papa God saved your life. He saved your life. This is a red flag for you, sir. That's all I have to say tonight. Go and think about it. Shall I start?
Yes, Kami.
You don't worry about what people have to say. We just trust in God and hold on to God.
Of course.
He in charge. Don't worry about the bill. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Don't worry. It's in Grenada we live in. You will see. You want to see. You will hear later on. Do not worry, people.
What old people say when you're digging pit, dig too?
Anyhow, the pit dig already. That pit already dig. And you know something again before I go? Is that bad? Ron and them not getting on today. I didn't listen. Now they hear people saying that. Call the election now, no? If I do bad.
Can we them? They know what's going on.
Call the election now. Oh God, just tell you call the election. Hey, Almighty God. Have a good night.
All right, my dear.
I'm meditating now. And I'm listening.
And prayers as usual. Thank you so much for all the prayers and prayers as usual.
Don't worry. God is in control of the universe.
All right, my dear. Yes, folks. Yeah. Somebody say if they bad touch a button. Nah. I ain't playing no badger or nothing. All I'm saying is, who no. If you ain't playing no badger or nothing, all you're saying is if you have to come, you have to come good. Nice. Yeah, and you heard Kami speak about something. And first of all, let me say I hope that everyone involved in this morning's accident in Springs, maybe nobody got seriously injured because it happened right in front of the church, Pastor Gilbert, and then maybe say a special prayer. But in the accident that took place this morning in front of the Opal Bible Church in Springs involving the official state car of the Prime Minister and another vehicle. I don't know the owner of the other vehicle. And many people speaking about the Prime Minister, and this, I want to know if the people in the other vehicle are okay. That's the first thing. So I hope that they are okay. And even if they think they are okay, I hope that they have gone and had medical checks done. I myself have been in an accident before, and my neck has never been the same after that. Yeah, I've had serious neck pains ever since that accident nearly 3 years ago. All right? Yes, somebody ran into the back of my vehicle at a very high speed. And I've never had the proper use of my neck. I get neck pains, bad neck pains every night since then. And at the time it happened, nothing. You don't even feel anything. But weeks later, you start to feel it. So whoever was in that vehicle, our prayers are with them, and also with the Prime Minister and his team, his security detail that was in the vehicle with him. We pray that all of them are okay. Nobody ain't asking about the police officer who was driving. You understand? We are all Grenadians. We are all Grenadians. So me rejoicing. I ain't rejoicing over what happened. I am concerned over what happened. And I'm calling. I'm going to come back to the phone lines in a short while, because I just want to make the statement. I'm calling here on the Commissioner of Police, and any Grenadian that really cares about our country should do the same, to please review the operations around the Prime Minister's security. Please. We're hearing of a situation that he went out on a boat and the Coast Guard wasn't there, because the Coast Guard is supposed to be following. In case of anything, you could just take the Prime Minister and you move, right? But he was out on a vessel, no Coast Guard inside. They didn't give whoever was supposed to pass on the plans, didn't pass on the plans. And so I don't care who don't like me. I'll say it as it is. He's the Prime Minister of this country and he ought to be protected properly. If it's my Prime Minister, I want him protected properly. Yeah? And you could like him, you could don't like him. I believe that a certain amount of respect and security needs to be afforded to the Prime Minister. And for an accident like that to happen this morning, I think a serious investigation needs to take place as to what caused the accident, because from what I have seen on video, it is concerning. So, Mr. Commissioner of Police, I think you need to relook at certain things. I mean, come on. Just recently, you had a member of the Prime Minister's security detail relieved of his service pistol and beaten to a pulp. A member of the Prime Minister's security detail. So how come we didn't see these things happening under the last Prime Minister and his security detail? And many people may not know, but this is the second vehicle that get bounced, because one of the black vans get bounced too. Yes, one of the black vans was involved in an accident earlier this year. So they feel I didn't see it in the spot. They had it in St. David, hiding on the side of the road garage repairing. I just refused to go and take a picture because I thought, there's an issue of national security, the Prime Minister's vehicle, look where it is. And that sort of thing, but it was damaged. It was taken to, I don't get the exact location. All I go say is a location in St. David. It was taken there, yes, close to where the tire place used to, right, you know what I'm talking about, good. Yeah, right after you pass, where you're going tomorrow, going up the road there, yes. I just making sure you know that I knew where it was. So I don't know if the Prime Minister was in that van at the point in time of the accident, but it means that the protocols surrounding the security of our state officials need to change. Someone was asking me about an incident involving the GG's vehicle. I don't know about that. But if there was one, I think we ought to know. Yeah, that the GG's vehicle, what kind of people all you have handling these things and them now? Weren't they taught? Certainly, because the last team, you didn't even used to hear a scratch. You didn't even used to hear a scratch, but now you're hearing all sorts of things. So again, we continue to pray for the safety and security of the individuals involved. But Mr. Commissioner, you have some work to do there.
Alan.
Hello, good night.
Yes, I just want to say that I saw the Prime Minister this morning on that television in that Parliament thing there. And I have to say that he is very disrespectful to the opposition. The way that he had turned his eyes and the way that he did this morning, he's not setting an example for the young people. And the team of them, they're not setting a good example. They are very disrespectful. Thank you, Sheldon.
Okay, thank you. And you see, I think the NDC administration continues to believe that they have a public relations problem. That if they put enough things on Facebook, remember, these are the same people that used to call ministers under the NNP minister, Facebook, and so on. But now, they are doing 5 and 6 times more on Facebook and social media than the ministers that they used to call Facebook minister used to do. All of a sudden is okay. They don't have a problem with that. All right? All of a sudden, they don't seem to have a problem with that. So they seem to think that they have a problem when it comes to, and let's take this call. Hello. Hi, good night. Hello, you're live caller, go right ahead. Call on the WhatsApp, you're live, go right ahead. Oh boy. Yes, callers, when you're calling, please remember to listen to us on the phone. Yeah, listen to us on the phone, please, so that we can have that conversation. If you've called and you're trying to listen via the computer or the television or so, there is at least a minute's delay. In some instances, there's at least a minute's delay, and it could even be more according to how you've joined, right? So you need to pay attention to that and speak to us on the phone line. We invite and we're willing to take your calls. So just speak with us on the phone line instead of listening for us to answer via the computer, because that comes about a minute later. All right? Nice. 440-7377. You can call us via WhatsApp or directly using that number. I was saying that this government seems to think that they have a public relations problem. I listened carefully to the new chairman of this ain't new, but he old. The new chairman of the NDC, that is Mr. Sylvester Qualis. And he was saying they have a PR problem. They don't have a PR problem. They have an empathy problem. We have a call online. Good night.
Hey, Mr. Scott. Good night. Good night to Grenada.
Good night.
Let me ask a question now. What side of the road we supposed to drive on in Grenada? The right or the left?
Well, the left side is the right side.
Well, I find, speaking about the accident, where I see the Prime Minister's vehicle is on the opposite side of the road. So I don't really know what's going on, you know.
You see, while that may be so, I don't know what led up to the accident, how the vehicle could have ended up on that side, so I don't want to make any pronouncements. All I do is I'm saying that the Commissioner of Police needs to look closely into the security around the Prime Minister. He needs to look closely at the security. And it seems as though this kind of thing does only happen when NDC in power. You know, remember back in 2013, just before the general elections, one of the black vans carrying Tillman Thomas ran off the road in Birch Grove, you know.
That's correct.
By the time Dr. Mitchell came in as Prime Minister, was one van that was available that was fixing the next one because it ran off the road. So it seems to be something that has happened when NDC in office.
It appears to be so. And what is the urgency that they have to rush this bill through the Parliament? I mean, we're trying to find out. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what's going on. I don't know what is the urgency for them to rush this bill. I mean, I didn't have a chance to sit and to watch Parliament today, but if the Prime Minister, Mr. Deacon Mitchell, reacted as it is said, which I don't believe the people lying. I mean, he really grew quick. He put on feathers very quick.
He has transformed.
And Grenada, and if they continue to go so, Grenada wouldn't be nice. Grenada would not be nice, so they have to be careful. You have to know to take his time. And Dr. Mitchell, not only that he's an ex-prime minister, he's older than him. So what about having respect for the elderly people? He don't have that? He know what they call respect? These people and them, they're going too far. They're growing wings too far, and let me know see what I have to say. Have a good night. Okay.
When people go to pull back, let me lead them. I was going to say what you had to say, you know, but let me pull back. Yeah? Let me do encourage the caller to say what you had to say. Yeah, say what you want to say. Don't say what you have to say. Well, yeah, you can say what you have to say and what you want to say, but it's up to you. All right, 4407377. That's the number to call both on the WhatsApp and directly. Yeah, those are the kind of things that are happening. And I am concerned, and I've said before to the Honorable Prime Minister, always remember the message that Kaunda gave to Maurice Bishop. Always remember that message. Sometimes your enemy is right in your footstool. We have a call online. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, good night.
Good night, Mr. Scott. How are you?
Always well. You're right ahead. You're live.
Yes, I just called to say, as usual, as long as NDC in power, everything does happen in the country. Everything does happen in the country. They is not going good at all. The people in Grenada are seeing catching the hell. I just fell on the sidewalk and I catching my name and charges.
I just make out the voice.
Mr. Start with the lady at the sidewalk.
I just make out the
How are
voice,
you?
darling.
I just you for the few days.
Well, neither you nor Cammy. I'll make sure and pass tomorrow.
No, I won't be there tomorrow. I have a funeral close by me, my close neighbor.
Oh dear.
So I won't be there tomorrow night. That's all bed. I till Friday, please God.
Give our condolences. But I'll
Yes,
see you.
yes. And have a good night. I'm listening to you.
Same to you and the family.
Okay, bye.
All right, my love.
Okay.
That's one of the good ladies in town, manners. Make sure and check her every day. Sometimes I have to run because when she start, I have to take off, you know. We have a hello? Hello, we have a call online. Good night.
Sheldon,
Hi.
good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
How are you, sir?
I am more than fine.
Thank God for that. We're not too surprised to see what we see there, you know. We're not too surprised. We don't wish it nobody bad, but we're not too surprised.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, this morning, I watch Parliament. I know a lot of them don't say they don't watch. Only they on Facebook giving the fight down. But I listen, and I want to tell Grenadians people, he have 23,000 people vote for that people. And that bill is not a one-man bill. They believe only 9 of them had sit down there and put themselves there. 9 of them don't put themselves there. 23,000 of them put them right there. And they have to respect Grenadians people. They can't manage their home. They want to come and manage Grenadians people.
But,
they better pay their self-respect. For what I see they do here today, one they tell himself he put his hand in his pocket and he mean he want to devour Grenada. But tell them, nobody wouldn't stand up to tell them to bow for Dr. Mitchell. Dr. Kit Mitchell, nobody not sitting down there and bow for him because we don't eat nice. We don't eat nice at all. They better watch themselves. And if we have an opposition, the opposition with the government have to think. 2011, Dr. Kit Mitchell wasn't in power when Bill started, you know. That they have to understand. And if he have to pass bill, they wouldn't have to come and pass bill, but he realized the bill don't think for one man thing, is for everybody. And that is why he didn't pass it. But they tell themselves they in power. You didn't hear he said, we in charge. So they do what they want. But they have to understand 23,000 of them vote for them who they sit down, they want to play bass inside me. So they got to know what they're doing and how they're doing and when they're doing. Blessed night.
Thank you very much, caller. Yes, indeed. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I had the call box engaged. For those of you on the overseas line, I'm sorry. I had the call box engaged. 440-7377. And for those of you outside of Grenada, 347-329-3101 is the number you can call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. Yeah, so I'm saying again to the Prime Minister, sometimes your enemy is right in your footstool. Check your circles. And I'm saying that to all members of the NDC because, see, there are some members of the NDC that don't realize when somebody stabbing them and not doing surgery. Not every time somebody cut you is surgery they're doing. Sometimes it's they're stabbing you to kill you. And it happened recently to Andy Williams, and Andy didn't even realize what George Worm was doing to him. So here is Brother Andy, and he was heading to become the General Secretary of the party. And from all indications, the Prime Minister's selection, for who he wanted to become General Secretary of the party, they found that Larry Berry, or whoever, I don't know if it's Chuck Berry or whoever he is, wasn't doing a job. They said the individual lazy, ain't doing it. That's not my thing. Leave him there. I'm glad when you have individuals like that there in a party. Make it easier for me. But anyhow, so they said they wanted Andy. Right? But then, all of a sudden, the talk surfaced about Andy and the GDB loan. Yeah. All of a sudden, the talk started to surface about Andy and the GDB loan. You think that talk came from the New National Party? You think it's the NNP that started that talk? Let me tell you all something. I knew about this allegation since late last year. You didn't see me come on the program and start to talk about it. But as soon as the convention at the NDC was coming up, all of a sudden you was hearing about Andy Williams and how much money he get from the GDB. Then, remember, he ain't go to GBN, he ain't go to MTV, he duck in Kalistra, so he ain't go there to go and speak about if he did get money and how much money he get. You know who he go by? George Worm. As if George was trying to help him. He ain't realized the article George wrote is to make sure that the delegates at the convention overwhelmingly decided that they didn't want he as the general sec, because there is a possibility that he could be seriously embarrassed and embarrass the party on a whole. So he realized the hatchet job, because some of them come to you, and I'm speaking here to the NDC MPs, they would come to you with a smiling face. But as my good friend Devon Romain always says, NDC has a habit of devouring their own. They have a bad habit of devouring their own, especially the young, devour them. So, he didn't realize that what George Worm was doing is not helping him, but helping to get rid of him. And that is exactly what happened on the convention floor. And now you hear the allegations against Ron Redhead. And you see George Worm do an article that basically says, quote unquote, that the allegations are true. That he sold a vehicle which he did not have ownership to. And then he's trying to explain how he sold a vehicle that he did not own. So he admitted selling the vehicle. He admitted that he got the vehicle to use to campaign. He admitted, that he sold the vehicle to somebody else. Other than the owner. He didn't give it back to the owner, but he sold it. And that now, the allegation is that there's an issue between the vehicle's owner and him in relation to the sale of that vehicle. So saying that you spend how much money to fix it up and so is a non-issue. You ain't realize George Worm hang you. You run because you're politically infantile. You're still in a test tube waiting. Yeah? So you ain't realize what George Worm did to you. You ain't realize that he just put a nail in your political coffin. And then, because you could tell that what George Worm wrote was supposed to have been a private conversation. You could tell that. I was speaking to somebody this morning and they say, you could tell the language, about me and no thief. You could tell us from a personal conversation. Then to make the accusation, which I find most people reading the article are missing, that there are some people in the NDC that spreading this thing because they have their agendas. How come you all missed that part of the article that George Worm wrote? That says that there are people within the organization from, according to George Worm, not from the mouth of George Worm, but from the mouth of the minister himself, that there are people within the NDC that are trying to defame him. He owned political party. He didn't say in the NNP, He said he owned political party. All you missed that. And by the way, why are they only going by George to talk? All you realize George is not your friend? All you must ask the people who was in the NDC after 2008 and who in 2012 were unceremoniously dismissed from the party. You all must ask them about what part George Worm played in all of that. You all must ask who was part of the second cabinet. Might have been the third one too. Yeah, ask them about the Georges. One has gone to the great beyond, and the other one is still around. You must ask them about the Georges, who was the advisor to the then Prime Minister. The advisors to the then Prime Minister. Yeah? All you go learn. Yeah? All you go learn. All you learn in the hard way, but all you go learn. Go ahead and run by George Worm. Don't realize that it's cut George cutting all your throat and smiling. All you think he gain all your shave? Is cutting your throat. All you think he helping all you remove a tumor with surgery is stabbing all you. Andy and Ron so far. Let me see who else going down the road. I know it happened to Karine too, you know. And she didn't even realize that. Yeah, 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. First with Karine and the trip to Egypt. Second with the trip to Egypt with your boyfriend. Yeah. Secondly, with Andy, and now with Ron. And you see them gallivanting over the weekend and think, all you ever noticed something with the pictures that the NDC always putting out at the different MPs hanging out together? Look at which MPs were hanging out this weekend. Claudette, under a cloud because of the firing of the Labour Commissioner that's going to end up costing the state of Grenada a significant amount of money, because I can guarantee you the state of Grenada will be taken to court by Mrs. Thomas, and the state of Grenada will lose and have to pay significant amounts of money to the former Labour Commissioner. Remember, on the 14th of March 2023, I told you so. Yeah? Just remember, I tell all of that. The state of Grenada will lose and will have to pay this lady a significant amount of money for the manner in which she was dismissed. Remember, it's we that tell all you first that she go in and get dismissed. So we telling all you now that how they are going to end up in court, they're going to lose, and they're going to have to pay that woman a pile of money. So Claudette was one of them linemen on the weekend. Ron, when people talking about RAV4 and all kind of thing all over the place, he was the other one there. Tevin, the man who take back all the house from them poor people in Garoko, who been firing left, right, and center until he fire his own aunt. That was the next one that was lineman in the crew. Andy, Mr. GDB Loan, that was the next man in the crew lineman. So you realize the crew that was hanging out. Skanking and banking. Yeah, the skanking and banking. Dancing and making sure the bank account look nice. Who saying they only had $2 in the bank account? Joke they making. Passing $20 for 6 months to drink a beer during Carnival in Caracol. If you don't know, I know all of that too. Yeah. $20 for 6 months to drink one beer. Yeah. So, anyhow, but that is the crew that's hanging. But notice something. All you ever see the general public linemen with them? They playing marble pitch up in St. Patrick's and St. Andrew and thing and Domino's. Is always these groupings together. You don't see the general public with them. Again, because these people believe they have a PR problem. What they have is an empathy problem. They just don't care. So I could skank and dance while your price of foodstuff goes up. We could say we go in and protect data, which is we go in and protect your information and so on. And meanwhile, your price of food going up. Your price of gas, we go hear what the price of gas is by the end of this week, fluctuating. Yeah? And they boasting when the price go down. But you ain't hearing them boasting when the price go up. Yeah? People losing their jobs. You ain't hear the boasting, you ain't hear the thing and that, but they skanking, man, they dancing. Skanking sweet. Yeah, all them kind of thing. But for them to address the issues that are affecting you and I and all Grenadians, they're not addressing it. What's the latest in relation to the reversal of the freight costs on the port to the 2019 measures? I believe it's supposed to expire either this month or the end of this month or sometime soon. It's supposed to expire. Has that had any net positive effect on the price of foodstuff in Grenada? Has it caused the price of foodstuffs to, even if it hasn't gone down, but to be maintained at a specific level? Has it been passed on, as the Prime Minister said when he was putting it in place? Have those profits that were gained by the business community passed on to Grenadians, or was it kept by the business community? We need a report on that. We want to hear what take place in relation to those measures. But no, all this skanking. Yeah, we ain't care what they think about that. If a thief a vehicle, a thief a vehicle. We ain't saying nothing about that. We ain't care. If a fire a Labour Commissioner, that she business a fire. Don't like a fire. Yeah? And who is them people in Karakou to tell me you to give house to? All you feel all you was getting house, I take it back. And while students going to GDB and can't get the money to go to university, if I take 2 point something million or I take 600,000, I take it. That is my business. And I put in data protection to protect my information because I don't want you know the real amount I get. 600,000 my foot. 600,000 you get. You know it's more than that you get. But don't worry. Time longer than twine. We have a call on the line. Good night.
Hey, good night, Brother Sheldon.
Good night, sir.
Hello. Hey, Brother Sheldon, I listened to the session this morning. Alright? And especially Mr. Taylor's phone. He was saying that that bill give the Grenadian people more right. More right. But Sheldon, the constitutional, every country government has a law and you have a constitution. And there is no bill that supersedes the constitution of the land. And when he said that give the Grenadian people more right, how could that be give the Grenadian people more right? When you're giving people authority to come into a man's home, someone's home, and the person cannot say, you cannot come in my home. So what you're doing there, you're taking out a right from some people that live in the house and giving the right to more right to the people who come onto such a home. You are in charge of the home, you are in the ambassador of the home. So if you say no, you can't come in the home, you have a right to tell a man not to come in the home. So you cannot say that you give that be giving people more right. But Shalan, this is just laughable. This is just laughable. Right? And you also say that you put in Grenada first, and it will be benefiting the Grenadian people. But and one thing that I heard the government was saying, like if NMP was opposing the bill, NMP was not opposing. There is some section of the bill which the Grenadian people have a problem with, and everything that was the government, the agenda came up with, it is the concern of the Grenadian people, right? So they need some clarification concerning that. So the government, the opposition was voicing the opinion of what the Grenadian people were saying, right? And what I'm saying, there is no perfect bill, right? And we check version this government. You know what the government doing? They put in the cat to Harley has. Remember in marketing board? They made up their mind what they're doing, and then they go have consultation with the farmers. So after you pass a bill, right? You pass a bill and it may become law. Then you want to have consultation with the farmers, with the Grenadian people. You should, what you have to do, have consultation with the different stakeholders, the people of the country, hear the views. Right? To hear the views. Why do you want to pass it? What I say goes, and Brother Sheldon, I do believe there is some ministers, they are against the bill, but they have to do what Daddy say. They have to go with the flow. Daddy say that, and that they have to go. They can't go against Daddy. Right? So when I remember they used to say, the commission that I know there's things that the commission may want to have in mind. When everything in Parliament, sometimes he give way. Because he's a cabinet, he is in charge of his cabinet as the Prime Minister. But then there's some but sometimes your views that you have, right? And let me have a view. It may be more important, may be more beneficial for the Grenadian people. So then you have to go with it. But it comes like if anybody else has a view right now, and the Prime Minister has another view, if the other person's view makes more sense, you have to give way to what the bossman say. How could that be right? Well, shall have a
Thank you. 44073777, and I just realized I had the two call boxes locked, so some people were trying to call on both of them and were not getting through. And you know, it's now 35 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. Let me introduce another issue here. I don't like to throw too much issues at one time, but I'd like to introduce another issue because, again, I have been made aware of a serious situation when it comes to the availability of medication. Just a while ago, I received a message in relation to medication again. I'll come back to it. I'll give the callers priority because it was my error earlier. Hello?
Shalon.
Yes, ma'am.
Good night.
Good night. Yes, go ahead. You're live.
Ceylon, with Ron talking about Peter David qualification.
yeah.
Ron Redhead, in the House of Parliament, he asked about Peter David qualification. Ron, you have to stop that. I have a message. I know they're listening. I know they're listening tonight. All right, tune in.
Mm-hmm. They are.
Mr. I have something to say, but you said it earlier on. But my spirit tell me to tell the Prime Minister that. I remember when Kawunda visited Grenada, he tell Maurice Bishop the enemies in the footstool, and Maurice didn't take heed.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Deacon Mitchell, this is Miss Camille Teresa Scott. I know you're listening. Your enemies is around your footstool, you know. All of them inside it. All your ministers and your colleagues. Them is your enemy. Not NNP people, sir. Trust me. I said on this program a few weeks back, I said to you, sir, find yourself in a little room in your house and seek God's face. You don't listen. When I said earlier on this program, what happened in spring is a red flag. Mr. Deacon Mitchell, I want you to listen. Your enemies in your footstool, sir. Trust me. Seek God's face. Yesterday was the 13th and today is the 14th. And you see what happened? You always look at people and underestimate people when they speak. I'm warning you, sir. Your enemy is in your footstool. Let it dance. Let all the disrespect people. Go ahead. Time longer than twine. Time longer than twine. The little pig did tell the mother pig. Allah is probably there. I'm telling you, I'm warning you. In all the prime ministers that pass in Grenada, I never hear or see that what happened this morning in Springs in front of a church. What happened is, Minister, be careful. You live in your house, you're alone, and you walk in. You walk in. No security behind you. Hey, you okay? Papa God,
yeah, me. All right.
have your way. Your enemies is around you. Not me. I'm just telling you, sir. Anyhow, Grenada, pray for your country. I want you all to seek God's face and keep praying for your country, because that bill is passing, it will not affect only NNP people. It will to affect the Grenadian people, everybody. Everybody. Dr. Kit Mitchell, they warn us, you know, and we break stick in the ears. And everybody afraid to talk now. And they feeling the weight. We're feeling it. Have a good night, Grenada. I don't bright like all you. I didn't go in no university. But
night,
everybody will feel the weight. I go. Have a good night.
Night, Kami. Yes, and JJ had to pass by tomorrow, and that time getting arrested. He had to pass by Kami tomorrow. Yeah, so I'm hearing that situation when it comes to medication. And let me see. I got a message a while ago. I'm looking for it here because I get so much messages at the same time. Yeah, so they took their child for a booster shot. So the child could be registered for preschool. You know, they have to get their shots. So the child was supposed to get registered for preschool in September. And they were told that they don't have it. Yeah, they went to, let me see which one is that. Samaritan Health Center. So if all you have, send some update. We have a call online. Good night.
Yeah, good evening.
Evening, sir. How you doing?
Are they?
All right. You know, I nearly asked you a question
They
about
talk
this.
about the medication. They just have month medication. I almost had to pay $200 for it.
Whoa.
And they tell me, the dispensary tell me they don't have that, so I had to buy it.
Oh, boy.
So it cost me almost $200 for it. What's going on in this country?
Oh, boy.
Grenadians.
And you're an elderly person. So you
Yeah.
I mean, you deserve to get your medication. You're elderly.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't know about it, just that the tablet that the doctor prescribed is, she tell me in the dispensary she don't have that, so I got to buy it. And where I go, I didn't get it. I had to buy it in shoot.
Oh, boy.
So, what we ask for is that we get. Grenadians didn't listen. So, according to the in, we got to stand up and fight back. Good night.
Good night, my brother. All right, 440. Let me make sure I do the thing. Yeah, I'm making sure I do the thing proper this time so that I don't stick it back. Yeah, I heard about that certain meeting with the Prime Minister for a few hours last week by a former MP under the MP and government minister under the NDC administration, who much people ain't hearing about right now. They doesn't hear your name call and thing. I don't know if he hiding, but he doesn't hear your name calling nothing these days. But yeah, I know he meet with the PM for a few hours last week. Well, yeah, next but all them people raid my house and say, oh, I know that. Hey, but all they tell me them thing for next thing them people want to raid my house. But yeah, I was telling you all about the medication situation. So a child that has to get their booster and they weren't able to get it. Yeah? And I'm hearing that some of the stuff that are needed for surgeries are in short supply. So the medication, yeah, that the anesthesiologist has to use, I use a big word there, but my tongue didn't tie up saying it. Yeah. In other words, the person who had to put you to sleep so that they could do the surgery on you. Yeah, those medication are in short supply. Like what they have now is like emergency supplies. Plus other categories of medication for people with high blood pressure, short supply or none at all. Right? And that's not just a case because it happened before that there are cases that some medication may be available at the main center and the people at the health center didn't apply for it in time, so it didn't come up in time, and you go and you ask and it's not there. It's in the main place, but it hasn't gone up. No, in this case, there is none at the main center. Yeah, there's none at the main center. Those nurses, they're talking, they're telling me what's going on. We have a caller online. Good night.
Yeah, Sharon, good night.
Good night.
Yeah, Sharon, when I sit down and I really analyze these people, I really think about these people. These people only get in there to have a good time, to get what they want, and to hell with the Grenadian people. They don't think about the Grenadian people.
All right. Okay, my dear. Yes, indeed. 440-7377. If you've called before and you didn't get through, you can call back now. We have roughly 16 minutes remaining on tonight's program. And yeah, so medication. Again, yeah, we back to there again. Just don't start doing like the last set of people and go and washing those IV. Yeah, don't go and play all the washing that and hang it out in the back of the hospital and all kind of thing to dry in the sun. Let me try not to reach back to that stage. Yeah, some of you don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, under the NDC administration before. Not this one, the last NDC administration. We had a situation where the tubes, the IV tubes and them thing there, yeah, they were taking those and washing them out and then put them to the back of the hospital so that the sun could beat them and dry them out and thing to use them over and thing again. That is the stage we was at before, where you couldn't get medication for mental patients and all them kind of thing. Yeah, we was at that stage before. And I'm hoping, because I'm a Grenadian, I don't know when I or one of my relatives or one of my friends or co-workers, anybody, has to go and use the facility. So I am not speaking about it because I want to be bad mind and I just want to frighten people. No, I'm speaking about it because I damn well want all you fix it. Fix it. Because some of them, and that was the attitude from them today, and they're talking about it because, oh, you just want to run your mouth. No, We're speaking about it because we want you to fix it. If you fail, Grenada fails, I fail too. Mokunks. That is why we're speaking about things. We want all you to understand the necessity to do these things. So when we speak about the lack of medication, it's not because we're casting we're not casting aspersions against you. We're saying it is a reality. You've heard a caller say that they went for, they didn't get. They had to find that money. And I know the individual, it's not easy for them to find that money to go and get the medication. So don't give the impression that anytime they talk about something is they're trying to run them out on you all. I wonder, somebody asked me the question earlier. Yeah? Somebody asked me the question earlier. I'm wondering, when will the Prime Minister finally make himself available to Khalid Shafari and Kellan Bob to go on their programs? Yeah, when will he finally, because you remember he was saying, as the person messaged me said, remember he was saying that the then Prime Minister and so on wouldn't go on those programs. When is he going to make himself available to go on those programs? Yeah, we are hearing that. No, we are hearing those things. Yeah, selective hearing. We have a call online. Good night.
Hey, good night, Shola. Good night.
Hey, brother. How are you doing?
Yeah, how is everything going, brother?
I'm good. You go right ahead. You're live.
Yeah, listen, to be honest with you, brother, I am really, really feeling, sad about the state of Grenada, via the political state right now, the socio-economical and psychological effect that is tearing down our people. And it appears to me that these our forces that is in authority, they are not really acting upon the conduct of or the principles, the standards, I should say, the ethical standards and conduct of that guide them in managing this country in a modest and favorable way. And although we understand that everybody would not agree with you when you're in authority, but Brother Sheldon, I am seeing some things emerging, and I am asking the same question that persons are asking. Where is that church council? Where is that religious body that, I'm pastor, but I am not a part of this, whatever the council, the church council, because
the Conference of Churches?
Yeah, Council of Church, right. I don't believe that I can, to be honest with you, I'm not Mr. Perfect, but would go and sit among these people who are only seeing one-sided. And it's only when one particular party is in government, that's the new national party is in government, you hear and you see all sorts of organizations spring up. And I cannot understand why. I cannot understand, because it appears to me that when the new national party is in government, right, is in authority, the people fear better. I wouldn't say sumptuously, but they fear relatively okay, right? And why is it when the NDC is in office, people are catching the hell? Why is it? Because here is the answer. I don't believe that they like people. To be honest with you, I want to be blunt about that. I don't believe that the NDC administration cares about the poor and marginalized persons in our country. I just want to quickly, 1 minute. Based on the rules, the ethical rules and conduct that are to be administered in the House of Representatives, the Parliament. I need, brother, to be honest with you, we need to get our ministers, our parliamentarians to obey the conduct of the House of Parliament. You know, the behavior, the deportation, the way they talk to one another. I know in Parliament the discussion has to be robust. You know, it has to be, you know, directed, but through the Speaker of the House. But it appears to me that, you know, just some little rude boys that is in Parliament. I mean, sorry, but that's how they behave it. And like nobody has an opinion and nobody could state what they believe is the way to go. You're ready to chop you down, you know, but guess what? Guess what? The day is coming. The day is coming.
Pastor, let me ask you a question. You're going West Hall tomorrow?
No, I'm not going West Hall tomorrow.
No, you should go and ask some questions, man. I'm afraid of.
No, I'm not afraid.
Don't afraid, no. Go and ask questions. If I wasn't busy, I was going, no. Serious, I was going. I have real questions to ask.
Yes. Well, I too, but I don't dare to take my phone and put it in the box. because in my phone I'm gonna be having my notes, you know, if I would do there, and there are some things that debarred me from going there.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna stand on the outside. The black bond gonna tell you.
Well, you know we will know.
Yeah.
We ain't worried about that. All right. Thank you so very much for your call. Oh no, you're making a point. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just saying good night to our his Majesty. Oh boy. Yeah, His Majesty Opposition, Dr. the Right Honorable Kit Mitchell and his entire team, the team of 6. You know, I am thankful for them and all the other players, team players like Gabriel Bowen and Oliver Joseph and all these honorable people.
Yes.
You know, Sister Hosford, you know, all of them. I say good night to every one of you. God bless you all and continue shining His face upon you all.
All right. Thank you very much, caller.
All right, brother.
Yes, indeed. 440-7377. That's the number you can call to get on to the inside. We have just a few minutes remaining on tonight's program. Let's take this call. Hello, good night. Hello. Hello. Oh boy, lost that one. Give us a call back, 440-7370. But pay attention to the phone line, not to the computer when you're on the phone, when the phone is ringing, because we'll answer on the phone. And you will not hear it on the computer until about a minute later, by which time we've disconnected the call. Yeah. And let me say this. I mentioned the police earlier and the Commissioner of Police. And let me mention something. Let me say, first of all, congratulations to Mr. Randy Connaught and I can't remember his first name, but Mr. Kerwin on their recent appointments. The thing I find funny though, and funny not in the ha, but strange kind of way, is that those individuals, one was appointed on the 28th of June last year, officially as of the 28th of June, 5 days after election, Mr. Cohen, and Mr. Connaught is in September of last year. That's when the something in song in right there. We have a caller. Good night.
Hello, good night.
Good night, sir.
And good night to everybody on the live. I just want to ask the Grenadian public one question. What this NDC government has done for the people of Grenada for the 9 months or the 10 months or the 8 months since they become in power. I want to know one good thing they've done for Grenada. Please answer. I just want to know what's the good thing they ever done for Grenada since they become government. Please.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller. One good thing they've done is they've spent 9 months already, which means we have 9 months less of them to spend. Yeah, so they spent 9 already, so 9 less that we have to spend. Yeah, because remember, you have 94 workers in Marketing and National Importing Board that were given their severance. Yes, some were taken back. A very small number were taken back. You have the 88 in St. Andrew South East. You have those in Carriacou. You have the taking back of the houses in Carriacou. You have the faith workers, the people under the faith program, who up to this day, it's going to make a year in a while, and the people can't get their money. And then trying to blame the people who you don't pay to pay them for paying them. How more wicked you could be? When I say they're wicked, some people just want to vex. But if they're wicked, they're wicked. Because some of these people is people with children. Most of these is women. Low paid people, not people that was earning $3,000 and $4,000. These were people that were earning a little $1,200, $800, that kind of thing. And the administration has refused to pay the company to pay these people. And then come and talk kind of nonsense and stupidness. We have a call online. Good night.
Shall I just call Dr. Finance? Who is the Commissioner of Police in Grenada? I'll put it on my phone now.
Okay.
And tell me who is the Commissioner of Police.
Okay. The acting commissioner right now is Mr. Mackenzie. I know he's the acting commissioner right now. The last notice I saw, Commissioner Martin was out on medical leave. So that is the situation there. But hear what? They feel I don't know what's going on in certain things. Now, one, all things being equal, the next commissioner of police in Grenada, if you're looking at seniority, should be Mr. Tafawa Pierre. Let me say it again. If you're looking at seniority, the next in line to become commissioner of police in Grenada is Mr. Tafawa Pierre. From my sources, there are 3 lawyers trying to find a way where they can promote him to commissioner of police. 3. They are working, looking at legislation, looking at different aspects of the public service and the police rules and everything to try and find ways, a way they could avoid promoting Mr. Tafawa Pierre to the position of commissioner of police. They didn't care that he's competent. They didn't care that he's capable. They didn't care that the people within the Royal Grenada Police Force respect him. They didn't care nothing about that. All they care about is who his wife is, not the capability that he has. Yeah? Because they feel, I don't hear, that they want to send him to run the home in Bacolet. I hear that already. I know that. They want to send Mr. Tafawa Pierre in Bacolet to go and run the Bacolet home. That is what they're looking to do. A deputy commissioner of police. Yeah? Competent, capable. I am sure if they had an exam in relation to it that he passed with flying colors because he's an intelligent individual. But simply because of who his wife is, they ain't trust. So they want him as commissioner of police, even though he might be the best person suited for it. They ain't care about that. They are taking political considerations above anything else. They think I don't know that they already make an office in the Ministry of Education for Mr. Norman Gilbert. All you feel I don't know that? That they are planning to demote a person who has acted as a permanent secretary. That is a plan. That they want to take Mr. Norman Gilbert and send him now as an administrative officer over in the Ministry of Education. They can try and stop information flow as much as all they want. They can't stop all. That's all the business. All they set up the office where the office already put in place. Yeah? Or let's send him on leave. Because all they're trying to find a way now of how they go get rid of him. I meet Norman Gilbert in youth development. From project officer to assistant coordinator to coordinator up to PS. And now all they're looking to demote him from a PS down. Meanwhile, other people who in acting position as PSs, they're trying to confirm them. And I'm asking, have you found anything on Mr. Norman Gilbert to demote him? I could tell you all some stuff about your capsec. Can't take me to court. Try it. I could tell all you some stuff about all your capsec. Yeah? Mr. Deacon Mitchell. You need to do some proper investigation before you appoint people, man. Yeah? Did you do a proper investigation in relation to your cabinet secretary? Did you find out the reason why they were transferred from one place to another? But you put them in charge of the public service now as the cabinet secretary. Eh? And then only looking to get rid of people like Norman Gilbert and Tafawa Pierre? Simply because of politics. Nothing to do with the capability of these individuals. Nothing to do with the competency or even the qualifications of these individuals, but simply to do with politics. I'll take Mr. Earl Williams, who was a senior project manager, etc., within the Ministry of Youth, and send him back to be a teacher in a school. Not because he's incompetent, not because he's not capable, not because he's not qualified, but because all you just find that in all your belief, he's a supporter of a political party other than yours. That is in all your belief. All you ain't ask him, all you ain't know. I've never seen this man around a political rally, anything like that. Not even a village meeting, and I just be around a lot of them. I've never seen him around any of that. All you take him to send him back and teach. Yeah? 9 years this gentleman has been in the Ministry of Youth. All you taking him back after 9 years to send him to go and teach. That's the kind of spiteful individuals that all you have within the government of Grenada right now as the government of Grenada. Because they want to try and embarrass people. They want to try and shame people. But if I was Norman and all of them, I'd bring case against all you. Yeah, I'm a lawyer with a deal with all you. Because your own Prime Minister on several occasions has made statements such as, if a person is within a substantive position for an extended period of time, and it's a position that needs to be filled, that person, according to the Labour Code, can be considered as having filled that position. And as such, you can't move them. You can't fire them. You could transfer them laterally. So if they're at grade J on the pay scale, you could move them laterally or whatever grade they are at. In other words, if that person is to the level of a commissioner of police, for instance, you could move them laterally. You could move them over commissioner of prisons, clerk of parliament, somebody at the same level. But you can't move them under. Yeah? They have to have the same authority as they had in whatever position they held. But you take Mr. Earl and you put him back as a teacher in a school. All you wicked. Bad-minded and wicked. No two ways about it. So all you feel I didn't know them thing, I just ain't say nothing all the time. All you feel I don't know, all you looking to demote Norman and put him. When NDC was in office the last time, they take him out as assistant coordinator, you trying to send him to teach a class, you know. NDC come back in again and doing the same thing to Mr. Norman Gilbert. All you feel I don't know that. All you could pass all your bill, all you could go in the Senate. But let me say something to Grenadians here. Let me say something to you all. It is up to you and me, it is up to us to ensure that this bill is stopped, reviewed, corrected, and then passed. Notice what I say. Not that the bill isn't passed totally at all, you know. Because there are some good things in the bill. The intent is good. But how they're going about the intent is wrong. So there are parts in the bill that need to be removed in some instances, rewritten in other instances, right? So there are some parts of the bill that need to be addressed. So if it means that I have to put on my walking shoes, that I have to go by Bryden and Miners and get my Bristol board and my marker and get ready, if it means that I have to do it, even if I have to do it alone, I am afraid to do it. But this bill must be addressed, not just stopped. The government must hold, consult, review. Then, when they come with it, nobody has an excuse to say we are against it or we're not supporting it. Yeah? Nobody would have the ability to say that. Everybody would say, well, okay, we are okay, we believed consultation. Some people agreed with us, some people didn't agree with us. Or you have made the changes that we've spoken about and others have spoken about, the concerns, you've addressed them. So we have no problem in passing this legislation. But instead, they take this sort of Gestapo approach. They've taken this sort of Third Reich, Hitler's approach, where we say goes and nobody else count in this thing. Let me warn the NDC on something again. In 2008, the NNP lost 11-4. By 2013, the NNP won 15-0. All you don't even have 11. 9, all you barely have. 9. And you don't need more than 8 to form a government. If all you go back to election now, all you even sure on 2 seats. Yeah? So, be wise. Yeah, giving advice to them. Be wise. Check all yourself. Prime Minister, check yourself. And you know something somebody pointed to me just before I go? Something somebody pointed out to me a while ago. You know it's the Governor General vehicle that bunks. And not the Prime Minister's vehicle. The Prime Minister actually using the Governor General's vehicle, you know. The vehicle has the crown on it. The Prime Minister own usually has the flag on it. So the Prime Minister is using the Governor General's vehicle. I wonder what the Governor General using. And I wonder why the Prime Minister is using the Governor General vehicle. Because if I remember correctly, the one that has the license plate with the crown on it is supposed to be representative of Her Excellency the Governor General. And the one that has the Grenada flag is supposed to be representative of the Prime Minister. Yeah? And I'm seeing the crown on the vehicle has been used. Further investigation needed. Folks, that's all the time we have for talking points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. Yeah, the 6 minutes that it takes to start talking tonight, I gave it back to all you. All you can't complain. All you Joyce, none all you can't complain. All you get back all your 6 minutes. Folks, we're coming back at you tomorrow night with more talking points. My name is Sheldon Scott. And of course, you all continue to make this the most listened to program on a night time in the state of Grenada and even outside of it, because we have so many listeners from all over the world tuning in to Talking Points, because we just talk sense here, right? Nice, good. So that is due to you, the listeners and viewers, and the people who send in the information to Talking Points. My name is Sheldon Scott, and whatever you say and do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. Let me play this one for the police officers tonight, man. All you know, I just had my police officer song queue up there, because they hearing certain man getting upgrade, but they still ain't getting the pay and grade. They hearing certain men coming out of acting position and getting, but the majority, 1 or 2 you hearing that, but the majority of them still waiting, still acting, What the Prime Minister did say is like a Shakespeare play, is a bunch of people acting. So I'm going to play one for the police officers as I head out tonight. Oh, let me make sure I get it here. Nice, beautiful.
Expected, but certain things that I see going on, we should close down our station from the nation. Why? Cause all you fretting me. We work good about you, don't give a fuck. Administration is writing we back. All you fretting me, you hear me? Most of us do the pre-promotion course. Now you drop seal and busting with all you fretting me. Don't fret me, 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 don't fret me. I said don't fret me. All you fretting me. Right up the reader. Every police walking around the clock to get all the black and video back. When we hold the culprit behind the fence, some complain and say leave them, it don't make no sense. Say what? All you fretting me. We walk good about you, don't give a fuck. Some of all you just attacking me. All you fretting me. We seeking for betterment in this place, but all you stabbing us in with chest. All you fretting me. Don't fret me, 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 don't fret me. I said don't fret me. All you fretting me.
man that go in your home. They not leaving no table there and turn. If you come and meet them, then I told it. And you handbug them, your life they will take away. Say what? All you fretting me. We walk good about you ain't give a fuck. What them bandit do all you look for that. All you fretting me. Some of all you sit in your area. Not one of all you call the officer. All you fretting me. Say, don't fret me, don't fret me, don't fret me, don't fret me, don't fret me. Say, don't fret me, don't fret me, don't fret me. All you fretting me. Yeah. This very said fellas commit murder. We take several years to solve it after. Concealing the crime is delaying time. Still police cannot put cat in their behind. What? Say what? All you fretting me. We walk good about you don't give a fuck. We ask you question you don't know about that. All you fretting me. Them brute don't want you to live happily, yet you hold back information from we. Are you fretting me? Hey! Don't fret me, 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 don't fret me. I said don't fret me.